They say that the first step of any journey is the most difficult in the world of money. There's a specific number that represents that first difficult step. That number is $100,000. It is a figure that seems elusive to many, almost like a mirage on the horizon. You walk toward it, but it feels like it never gets closer. But I am here to tell you that reaching this milestone is not a matter of luck, and it is not a matter of genius. It is a matter of temperament. Why do we talk about $100,000? Charlie Munger, my late partner and friend, often said that the first $100,000 is a bitch. Excuse the language. But you must do whatever it takes to get there. Why? Because money has a peculiar quality. It likes to reproduce. When you have zero, you have no soldiers fighting the war for you. When you have $10,000, you have a small squad. But when you reach $100,000, you have an army. Getting to that first milestone in 2 years or less is an aggressive goal. It requires a shift in how you view the world. Most people look at money as a way to buy things. The wealthy look at money as a tool to buy freedom. If you are watching this, you likely feel stuck. You feel that your paycheck vanishes before the month ends. You are not alone. But today, we are going to quiet the noise. We are going to look at the simple, mathematical reality of how you can accumulate that first substantial sum and how that sum will eventually change your life forever. There is a great misunderstanding in the modern world about speed. Everyone wants to get rich quickly. They look for the lottery ticket, the hot stock tip, or the cryptocurrency that will go to the moon overnight. But the stock market, and indeed the economy itself, is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. To get to $100,000 in 2 years is fast? Yes, but it cannot be done through gambling. It must be done through intensity. The problem most people face is that they confuse getting rich with looking rich. You cannot accumulate capital if you are busy trading it for depreciating assets. Every time you buy a car, you cannot afford to impress people you do not know. You are setting your financial clock back by years. To achieve this goal in 24 months, you must accept a temporary reality. You must live differently than your neighbors. The math is simple, though the psychology is hard. To save $100,000 in 2 years, you need to accumulate roughly $4.100 a month. For many, that sounds impossible. You might say, I don't even earn that much. That is a valid objection. However, the principles we will discuss today work regardless of the timeline. If it takes you 2 years, wonderful. If it takes you 5, the destination remains the same. The trap is thinking that because you cannot do it instantly, you shouldn't do it at all. We must stop looking for the magic trick and start falling in love with the process. The process is boring, but the results are magnificent. In business, I look for companies with a moat, a competitive advantage that protects them. In your personal finances, your moat is the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The wider that gap, the safer you are, and the faster you can fill your treasury. To hit our target, we must attack this gap from both sides. Most people try to save what is left after spending. That is a recipe for failure. You must spend what is left after saving. This is the first easy way, though it requires discipline. You must become a ruthless auditor of your own life. Where is the money leaking? Is it the subscriptions you don't use? The dining out that provides no nutritional or emotional value? The car payments for a vehicle that sits parked 90% of the time? To get to $100,000 quickly, you cannot just trim the edges. You must cut the core. This might mean making a radical decision for 2 years. Perhaps living in a smaller apartment, selling a vehicle, or eliminating vacations. Remember, we're talking about a specific time frame, 2 years. Can you sacrifice luxury for 24 months to buy freedom for the rest of your life? It is a trade. And in my view, it is the best trade you will ever make. You are buying your future self a safety net that no employer and no economic downturn can take away from you. The enemy of savings. It is not high prices. It is the inability to define enough. The reason many high earners are broke is that their lifestyle inflates instantly to match their income. they get a raise, and they buy a bigger house. They get a bonus, and they buy a boat. They are running on a treadmill where the speed keeps increasing, but they never move forward. To accumulate your first $100,000, you must freeze your lifestyle. If you earn more next month, your spending must remain exactly where it is today. This is called operating leverage in business. When revenue goes up but costs stay flat, profits explode. You need to treat your personal household like a business with high operating leverage. We live in a world of constant advertising. You are told every day that you are inadequate if you do not own the latest phone or wear the finest clothes. You must develop an inner scorecard. An inner scorecard means you judge yourself by your own standards, not the world's. If you are happy driving an old car because you know your bank account is growing by thousands every month, you have won. You have defeated the marketing machine. When you stop caring about what the neighbors think, your savings rate will double. It is a psychological unlocking that is worth more than any stock tip I could give you. We have discussed saving, but saving alone has a limit. You can only cut your expenses to zero. You cannot cut them below zero. However, there is no limit to how much you can earn. The second way to accelerate this journey is to invest in the greatest asset you will ever own. To reach $100,000 in 2 years, you likely need to increase your income. This does not necessarily mean working more hours. Until you collapse, it means increasing your value to the marketplace. The more you learn, the more you earn. It is a simple rhyme, but it holds a profound truth. Communication skills, for example, are worth 50% more of your lifetime earnings. If you can speak clearly, write persuasively, and lead others, you become rare. Scarcity creates value. During these 2 years, you must adopt a sprint mentality regarding your income. This might mean taking a second job, starting a side business, or aggressively seeking promotion. Remember, the goal is to feed the savings account. Every extra dollar earned during this period should not go to your checking account to be spent. It should go directly to your freedom fund. You are building a machine. In the beginning, you have to crank the handle manually, and it is hard work. But eventually, the machine begins to run on its own. A crucial part of this journey involves a very small word with massive power. No. To focus on one thing, accumulating your capital, you must say no to almost everything else. Warren has often said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. For the next 2 years, you might have to say no to expensive social outings. You might have to say no to upgrading your phone. You might have to say no to loans for friends or family who are bad with money. This sounds harsh, but it is protective. You are in a fragile stage of construction. When you pour concrete, you must put up barriers to keep people from walking on it until it sets. Your financial foundation is currently wet concrete. If you say yes to every request for your time and money, you will be pulled in 1,000 directions. Focus is the key. You must protect your time and your capital ferociously. This doesn't mean you become a hermit or a miser. It means you are intentional. If an activity does not bring you immense joy or move you toward your $100,000 goal for the next 24 months, the answer is no. This clarity eliminates decision fatigue and keeps you on the straight and narrow path toward your target. Now, let us assume you are widening the gap and earning more. You have piles of cash accumulating. What do you do with it? If you leave it in a checking account, inflation, the silent thief, will steal its value. You must deploy it, but you must not gamble it. The third way is simple, boring, consistent investing. For the vast majority of people, perhaps 99% of the population, the best way to invest is in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. You are buying a slice of the finest businesses in America. You don't need to pick the needle in the haystack. You just buy the haystack. Here is the strategy for your 2-year sprint. Every time you get paid, a portion goes automatically into this fund. You do not look at the news. You do not care if the market is up or down today. In fact, if you are a net buyer of stocks, You should want the market to go down so you can buy more shares for the same amount of money. This is a difficult concept for people to grasp emotionally. They see red on the screen and panic. You must see red and see a sale. By automating this process, you remove your emotions from the equation. You are systematically purchasing your future, one share at a time. Let me offer you a story to illustrate the mindset you need. Imagine a farmer who plants a seed of a Chinese bamboo tree. In the first year, he waters it, fertilizes the soil, and removes the weeds. Nothing happens. The ground looks exactly the same. The second year, he does the same work. Still, nothing breaks the surface. This continues for 4 years. A neighbor might look over the fence and say, "You are a fool. You are watering dirt." But in the 5th year, something miraculous happens. The bamboo sprout breaks through the earth, and within 6 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now, did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer, of course, is 5 years. If the farmer had stopped watering in year 3 because he saw no results, the tree would have died in the ground. Your first $100,000 is like that bamboo tree. For the first year, or perhaps 18 months, it will feel like you are sacrificing for nothing. The interest earned will be small. The progress will look slow. You will want to quit. You will want to buy the car instead. But you must keep watering. You must keep the faith in the mathematics of compounding. The explosion of growth happens after the foundation is built. Do not dig up your seed to check if it is growing. Trust the soil. Why are we so fixated on this number? It is not arbitrary. $100,000 is often considered the tipping point of personal finance. Once you have $100,000 invested, and let us assume a conservative 7% or 8% annual return, your money starts to earn $7,000 to $8,000 a year on its own. That is like having a small employee working for you part-time for free forever. When you reach $200,000, that employee is working full-time. The math begins to do the heavy lifting for you. The journey from $0 to 100K is 90% hard work and 10% investment return. But the journey from 100K to 1M is increasingly fueled by the investment return. You are pushing a snowball up a very steep hill. It is heavy, it is cold, and it is exhausting. But once you reach the top of the hill, that $100,000 mark, you push it over the edge. Suddenly, gravity takes over. The snowball rolls down the other side, gathering snow, money, faster than you could ever pack it by hand. This is the moment you are working for. The 2 years of sacrifice are the uphill phase. It is temporary pain for permanent gain. Keep your eyes on the top of that hill. As you build this wealth, you must be wary of the fatal mistakes that can wipe you out. Rule number 1 of investing is never lose money. Rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. This does not mean the market won't fluctuate. It means you should not take risks that can ruin you. The biggest risk during this accumulation phase is debt. Credit card debt, with interest rates of 20% or more, is a financial cancer. You cannot outinvest a 20% interest rate before you start investing aggressively. You must kill the high interest debt. It is a guaranteed return on your money to pay it off. Another fatal mistake is leverage, borrowing money to invest. Do not do it. If you are smart, you don't need leverage. If you are dumb, leverage will ruin you. Keep it simple. Cash flow is your oxygen. Do not choke yourself by taking on monthly payments that restrict your ability to save. A simple life is a stress-free life, and a stress-free investor makes better decisions than a panicked one. We have covered the philosophy. Let us review the practical steps you can take the moment this video ends. First, conduct a forensic audit. Print out your last 3 months of bank statements. Take a red pen and circle every expense that was not necessary for your survival or basic happiness. Total that number. That is your potential initial monthly savings. Second, set the automatic transfer. Go to your bank online. Set up a transfer that happens the day after your payday, moving that money to a separate account, preferably one you cannot access easily. If you don't see the money, you won't spend it. Third, pick your vehicle. Open a brokerage account. Keep it simple. Look for a low-cost index fund. Do not try to be a hero and pick the next winning tech stock. Be the house, not the gambler. Fourth, calculate your sprint number. If you want $100,000 in 2 years, do the math on what you need to earn extra or save extra. Write that number on a Post-it note and stick it to your bathroom mirror. Look at it every morning. It is your target. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. We often overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in 2 years. 2 years will pass regardless of what you do. The question is, when you arrive at that future date, will you be standing on a foundation of financial security, or will you be in the same place you are now? Building your first $100,000 is not just about the money. It is about building the character of a person who is in control of their destiny. It is about sleeping well at night. It is about being able to say no to a job you hate or yes to an opportunity you love. It is the price of admission to a life of independence. I hope these words have offered you some clarity and perhaps a bit of courage. The path is simple, but it is not easy. But I promise you it is worth it. If this helped you think more clearly about money and you wish to build a wiser, calmer financial future, you may want to stay with this channel. Subscribe to join us as we continue to learn together. Remember, wealth is not about having the most. It is about needing the least and letting time do the heavy lifting. Thank you for watching.